Hello, I'm the Doctor. Welcome to DoctorGeek. Today, we're doing a recap and review of the New Year's special, Resolution. The episode opens with a battle taking place long ago, where three armies band together to stop a nearly unbeatable foe. Once they defeat it, the three leaders split the creature into thirds and take it to the extremes of the planet to bury the pieces and guard them for all time. However, one of the leaders failed on his mission and was killed by thieves, who for some reason barely check his body before leaving him. And now, in present day, his bones, along with the piece of the creature that he left behind, are being uncovered by two archaeologists named Mitch and Lynn. The two decided to come into work on New Year's Day after sharing their first kiss the night before. However, as they uncover part of the creature and place it under a UV light, it begins to come back to life, and its other two pieces, far, far away, are teleported back to it, making it whole once again. Meanwhile, in the TARDIS, the Doctor and friends are on a tour of New Year's Eves and have already seen 19 so far. But as they prepare to make it an even 20, the Doctor gets an alarm from Earth about something non-terrestrial, and they make their way back to, of course, Sheffield. Back at the dig, Mitch and Lynn notice that the piece that they discovered is now missing, and Lynn goes off to look for it, assuming that a rat has run off with it. But soon, she sees a large squid creature on the wall, and as the TARDIS arrives, Lynn takes them to where she saw the creature, but it's disappeared, and the Doctor takes a sample of some slime on the wall to do an analysis. The Doctor sends Mitch and Lynn away, which they are surprisingly okay with considering this is their life's work, but as Mitch offers to buy Lynn a drink, she strangely has a change of heart from earlier, and she decides to just go home, which disappoints Mitch immensely. But as Lynn arrives home, we see that the creature has latched onto her back, and it is now controlling her like a puppet. Taking the TARDIS to Graham's house, they soon hear the doorbell, and surprisingly, they are joined by Ryan's father, Aaron, which Graham is not pleased about, and the Doctor gives him a similarly cold reception after knowing how he's let Ryan down so many times in the past. But Ryan decides to go and get a drink with his father to talk things out. Once he's gone, the Doctor finishes her analysis of the slime, and she realizes, much to her horror, that it contains the DNA of the most dangerous creature in the universe, a Dalek. The Dalek uses Lynn to hack into the Black Archives, learning the location of Earth's most dangerous weapon, and he forces her to drive at breakneck speeds to get to them, killing two police officers in the process. Back with Ryan and Aaron, Ryan learns that his father is now selling a combination oven and microwave just to get by, and while he says it's the top of the line, it sounds an awful lot like a con. Ryan tells his father how much he has let him down, and made him feel like he was undeserving of his father's love. And while Aaron does his best to make amends, Ryan is not having it. The Doctor decides that she probably shouldn't have sent Lynn and Mitch away, and as they attempt to contact them, only Mitch answers, and he tells them about the legendary battle that we heard about in the beginning of the episode that took place in the 9th century. However, learning that Lynn isn't answering her phone, Mitch becomes nervous, and they use Yaz's cell phone to track her location with the TARDIS. But somehow, the TARDIS systems get shorted out, which makes the Doctor realize that this Dalek must be a recon scout, one of the first Daleks to ever leave Skaro, meaning that it has even more capabilities than a normal Dalek. Meanwhile, Lynn has reached the Black Archive, and after killing the guard, she begins to uncover the Dalek weaponry. But soon, the Doctor is able to make contact with the Dalek, and she tells it that she is going to stop it, telling Lynn to continue to fight. After she keeps the Dalek talking for a while, the Doctor manages to reboot her systems, but she still isn't able to track the Dalek. She attempts to contact UNIT, but surprisingly, she learns that UNIT has been shut down pending a budget review, which means that unfortunately, there is no one that can help them. As Lynn and the Dalek arrive at a factory to begin the reconstruction of the Dalek casing, Lynn begins to take back control, but not before the work has been completed. And soon, the Doctor and friends use satellites to track the Dalek, and they arrive at their location. However, in their haste, they leave Graham and Aaron behind. At the factory, they find another man dead, and Lynn collapsed on the ground. And sending her friends back to the TARDIS with Lynn, the Doctor goes looking for the Dalek, soon finding it in its brand new casing, built from spare parts. The Doctor tells the Dalek to scan her, and she delights in telling the Dalek that she is the Doctor, the enemy of the Daleks. But the Dalek tells her that it is contacting the Dalek fleet and it will destroy humanity, before it launches itself into the air and makes its escape. Back in the TARDIS, the Doctor assures her friends that they will stop the Dalek, and soon Graham calls her, demanding that she come back and pick him up, which she immediately does, which surprises Aaron immensely, as he finally understands what his son has been up to for all this time he's been away. Meanwhile, the Dalek encounters some military men, and once again shows why even one Dalek is so dangerous, as it takes them all down with ease, including a tank. The Doctor uses the heat signals from the battle to track the Dalek once again, and Aaron has an idea to use his combination oven-microwave to attack the Dalek, and he begins to disassemble it. As the Dalek begins to shut down the whole of the UK's internet and power grid to divert everything towards the Dalek fleet, the TARDIS soon arrives, with the Doctor telling the Dalek that she will always be in its way, giving it one last chance to leave the planet peacefully, which of course the Dalek predictably refuses. Strangely, the Doctor's plan is a simple one, as the 7 of them surround the Dalek, magically dodging its weapon, and attach the microwave parts to its casing, causing it to explode and destroying it. However, as they begin to celebrate, they see that the Dalek has managed to escape, and it is now controlling Aaron. It tells them to take it to the Dalek fleet, and the Doctor agrees, but as they arrive, the doors open to reveal a sun going supernova, and the Doctor attempts to use a gravity corridor to pull the Dalek off of Aaron. However, it doesn't quite work the way she planned, and Aaron too begins to be pulled out of the TARDIS. As Ryan runs to his father's side, he tells him that he loves him, and that he forgives him, and taking Aaron's hand, he pulls him back into the TARDIS, as the Dalek is sucked out. Later, the Doctor and friends say goodbye to Lynn, Mitch, and Aaron, and Yaz asks the Doctor where they are off to next, and with a smile, the Doctor says, everywhere. With that, Series 11 officially ends, and Doctor Who begins its long break before Series 12. And now, before my review, here were the best lines from Resolution.
Every day, they've got the best balloons.
You broke my chair.
Well, if you will leave chairs around the place.
This is my front room.
Graham, emergency peanut butter run.
What?
These are my serious tech skills, and yes, that is with a Z. Me and a Dalek is personal. I'm the Doctor. Ring any bells? Must remember, how long's a rel? I think that was my best skid ever. I'm so chuffed.
Okay, so overall, I thought this was a pretty mediocre episode, as unfortunately, not even a Dalek could elevate the writing issues that have been plaguing this series so far. The episode, despite being about 25% longer than normal, felt strangely empty, as not a whole lot really happens before we get to the rather rushed ending, and at no point do we ever really feel like this Dalek is going to be a threat. In fact, as I looked for things that I liked in this episode, I'm kind of coming up a bit short. Nothing was terrible, it just wasn't very good. Mediocre is really the best word for it. However, the characters of Mitch and Lynn were bright spots, played by Nikesh Patel and Charlotte Ritchie respectively. I found their characters to be more compelling than even the companions have been recently, and I was really hoping that we might get a little bit of a companion swap at the end of the episode, as these two young archaeologists are more interesting than what we've been getting, especially out of Ryan and Yaz. But alas, it was not meant to be, and the Doctor even bizarrely sends both of them away in the beginning, even though they both possess knowledge of what they were digging up that could probably be useful, and they had already seen both the monster and the TARDIS. So other than padding the runtime and setting up Lynn's mind control, there was really no reason to send them away, just to call them back again 10 minutes later. As for the other guest star, Daniel Adegboyega did a pretty good job as Ryan's father, and actually did a better job than what I was expecting, despite not really having a lot to go on. And while it was nice to finally get an end to this plot point that's been strung along throughout the whole series, it did feel a little forced into our Dalek story. Still, he was believable as Ryan's father, and his scenes played well even if they were out of place in this episode. Other than that, I really don't have much more positive things to say about this episode, except I really did enjoy the callback to Planet of the Spiders, with the Dalek on Lynn's back being very similar to the spider that was on Sarah Jane's back. And for that matter, the creature that was on Donna's back. But with that, let's talk about what didn't work in this episode. First off, this entire premise is just really silly to me. We open with this massive battle against the Dalek in the 9th century, with 3 armies coming together to defeat it. And honestly, that would have made a great episode. Why couldn't we have seen the TARDIS team travel to that point, to see the first Dalek scout to ever reach Earth, and help them lead 3 warring armies to work together to defeat it with their primitive weapons? That would have been awesome. Instead, we're told that the Dalek was beaten centuries ago by primitives without the Doctor's help. So why wouldn't they be able to defeat it now? It just took all of the drama out of the episode and really made the Dalek seem like not much of a threat, which it did turn out it really wasn't. Adding to the absurdity, we are told that they decided to split the Dalek into 3 pieces and hide them around the world for all eternity, which is fine, I can believe that, but then we see that one of them was killed almost immediately, and the thieves that shoot him down don't even bother to look at the package that he was carrying. In fact, he remains exactly where he was killed for all of these hundreds of years, despite him dying on what appears to be a main road. And you're telling me that no one found his body at any point, or took the parcel that he was carrying? It's just a little far-fetched. And of course, it happened in Sheffield, because everything in Series 11 has to happen in the exact town that all of our companions are from. All of Space and Time, and we go to Sheffield every other episode. It's stupid, and it makes no sense. We learn that apparently, under UV light, Daleks essentially become invincible. And after centuries of guarding the pieces, the Dalek is apparently able to teleport its severed pieces from across the globe and reassemble itself. What? If the Dalek could reassemble itself, what was the point of splitting it up in the first place? Like, obviously the people wouldn't have known that it could do that, but as a writer, why separate the Dalek when you're just going to have it be able to teleport itself back together at a moment's notice? It completely undercuts the whole point of splitting it. Why even include that? Why not just have the guy who was killed be taking the entire Dalek somewhere to hide it? Again, it's just another pointless detail to pad the runtime of this hour-long special. Once the Doctor arrives on scene and meets Mitch and Lynn, she tells them to evacuate the area until they hear back from her. And bizarrely, they listen to her. These two are in the process of uncovering an ancient burial, one of the highlights of their young careers, and a bunch of strangers show up out of nowhere and tell them to piss off, and they listen? I know that Lynn was possessed at the time, but if I was Mitch, there is no way in hell I would just leave my work unguarded with a bunch of strangers, no matter what had happened. And we've already talked about how stupid it was for the Doctor to even send them away in the first place when she needs their knowledge just a few hours later. Later, as the Doctor discovers that the Dalek has the ability to short out her TARDIS, she assumes that this must be a recon Dalek with special abilities. And to this I say, come on! A recon Dalek? Why have we never once in over 55 years come across one of these recon Daleks with TARDIS short-circuiting technology? In fact, if this is one of the oldest Daleks, and the Doctor is their biggest enemy, shouldn't every Dalek have this feature? Wouldn't that make their lives a million times easier if every Dalek came equipped with that perk? It's just a stupid and pointless plot hole to introduce into this episode, when it really had no effect on the story whatsoever. The Doctor fixes her TARDIS in just a few minutes, and it's never an issue again. Just another example of adding something to pad the runtime, which, if Chibnall wasn't able to write a full hour story, he should have just kept it to the regular length, because this is just getting ridiculous. I'm sorry I'm piling it on so thick for this episode, but it really annoyed me. How do you mess up Daleks? Anyways, my last gripe is with Ryan's father Aaron. And as I said earlier, his character in itself is not bad, and it's nice to actually get to resolve this plot point in the series. But don't put him in the Dalek special. We barely got enough of the Dalek due to the poor pacing of the episode, and shoehorning in this father-son get-together only took us away from that action even more. Not to mention that Aaron's stupid oven, that he just kind of has with him for no reason, winds up being the key to, at least at first, beating the Dalek. And he offers up that strategy after about 2 minutes of being in the TARDIS, when any normal person would still be staring around in wonder and disbelief. And don't even get me started on how insanely stupid the plan was to beat the Dalek, as after we saw the Dalek just annihilate a group of armed soldiers, 7 people managed to, very simply, run around the Dalek, surround it, and add machinery to it without so much as a scratch. We've already seen the Dalek has missiles in its casing, and yet it just lets these people stand right next to it? Come on! Finally, as the Dalek takes over Aaron, and he begins to be sucked out of the TARDIS, Ryan immediately forgives his father and tells him that he loves him, giving him the strength to separate from the Dalek. Because apparently, all it takes for your son to forgive you for being a horrible parent is for a Dalek to possess you. Ryan was at no point close to forgiving his father, but then, on a dime, everything falls in line and is fine and dandy, and they end the episode best of friends. It's just lazy, lazy, lazy writing to end a whole series of lazy writing, and in a Dalek episode, it's even more disappointing. So, yeah, again, sorry for being so hard on this episode, but I really wanted to like it, and I just didn't. Admittedly, I've liked the episodes this year more than many of the fans have, especially Jodie in particular as the Doctor, as I think that a lot of the hate that she's been getting is the same kind of hate that every new Doctor gets at first. But her writing is really not doing her any favors, and it's making it much harder for people to warm to her portrayal of our favorite Time Lord. There are rumors that Chibnall will be leaving after Series 12, and honestly, I welcome the change, because it's already become clear that he is not cut out for writing science fiction. So, for a very mediocre episode that reintroduces the Daleks to the 13th Doctor, but stumbles on nearly every turn, I give Resolution 5 Daleks out of 10. So, that was my recap and review for Series 11's New Year's special, and likely the only Doctor Who that we will see in 2019. Unless Chibnall puts out another special for Christmas this year, but honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath for that. I apologize for not putting out too many videos lately, as I've been backpacking through India, but I'll be back in less than a week, and I've got a lot of compilations and deep dives that I'm excited to make. So stay tuned for a lot more coming out of the channel in the weeks to come. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos every week, and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part of the episode was, and leave me some ideas for videos that you'd like to see me make in the future. Let me know in the comments if you think I was too hard on the episode, and what your favorite part was. And leave me some ideas for videos that you'd like to see me make in the future. As always, thank you for being my companions on this journey today. I'm the Doctor. Bye for now.